Hi, my name is David, and I'm going to walk you through how I solved the CSWA practice problem 8.2. So this problem uses a sweep, and for a sweep you need two things. You need the profile, right here, here's the profile that we're going to use, and then the path that the profile is going to sweep is going to be like sort of copied throughout. So the path, in this case, we're going to use the outer curve here, because most of the dimensions, or all the dimensions, are based off that outer curve. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this better. So basically the path that we're going to use consists of, first off, a line. You can tell that the line ends because of this line right here, and it goes into an arc. So then we have the arc, which ends right here, and then we have a line, then an arc, then another arc, then another arc, and finally a line. So that's the path that we're going to sweep that profile about. Now, a few things to notice about this path. Again, all the dimensions seem to be on that path, or relative to that path. One of the things as we're first setting it up is this arc down here is going to be locked to the origin. So let's go ahead and get started with this path. All right. So we're going to start in the front plane and go into the line tool and just start sketching out that path. And we'll try to create the, see, we can lock the tangency here. We'll try to create those as much as possible on while we're creating this path. But if we miss some, we'll catch it and deal with it later. Okay. Out and in. And finally, we want to make sure not to lock anything else in place, create any unwanted relations here. Okay, so actually we almost got the center of this arc on the origin. That was pretty cool. So we'll make those coincident to lock that into place. Also, these 2 points are vertical, so we're going to make those vertical to each other. Oops, I think I missed it. This point and the origin, and let me try this again. Okay, there we go, vertical. Okay. I kept moving the mouse away, so the little context window kept disappearing. Now we can dimension the arcs. So let's go ahead and dimension this guy down here. That's a radius of 7. We can dimension these little guys, radius of 5 each. And then this guy here, radius of 10. Okay. And what else do we have? We have that the distance between these centers is 26. And then let's look back over here. So the vertical distance between the center of this arc and either of these 2 points here, like the beginning of the path that we drew and the end of the path that we drew, is 4.5. So I'm going to dimension this one here, and then just make sure that these 2 points are horizontal to each other. So here we go, from this point to this point horizontally is 4.5. And then we just need to make sure that these 2 points, the start and the end, are horizontal to each other. All right. Some wacky things are happening here, so let me undo that. Let's continue with the dimensioning. So we have an angle between these 2 lines of 26. We just lost our line. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. So then we have the angle between these 2 lines is 14. We pull the 26 out. Okay, and what else do we have here? That's looking good. Okay, one thing to notice, there are actually two more things that we need to do. So one thing to notice is that if you look at the centers of these 2 arcs that have a radius of 5, the 2 centers are horizontal to each other. So we're going to make those horizontal to each other. And then the other thing that's a little bit less obvious is that these 2 points right here and here are horizontal to each other. After we fix the bottom 2 centers so that we can make sure that those are locked into place, we'll still have the ability to move the sketch around. And so we'll realize that these 2 points should be horizontal to each other. So we'll make those 2 modifications, this one and this one, horizontal, and then this guy right here where the arc begins and ends, these 2 horizontal as well. That was a little bit less obvious, but that's important too. Oh, now we're still undefined because we forgot to make this horizontal to this point here. There we go. That makes that the right length. Okay, so now we have a fully defined path. We can exit out of this sketch by just double-clicking anywhere that's not some kind of edge or whatever entity. And that's what our path looks like. Okay, so now let's focus on the profile. So the profile we just kind of roughly sketched. I'm going to erase that real quick and talk a little bit more in detail about this profile. First off, it looks like we can use offset entities. So if we draw this top curve, then we can use offset entities with a thickness of 0.5 to create the bottom curve and cap off these ends right here. We're going to work on the top curve mainly because the dimensions are all given pointing to the top curve, the radius of this arc, the radius of these 2 arcs, and whatnot. One thing that was not totally obvious when I first did this one was that there's a line that starts this off. And I'm going to explain a little bit of why I think you can see that from this picture, although it's not totally obvious. If you look at the center of this arc here, it's a little bit off from the edge of this region. So if this were a continuation of the arc, we would expect it to curve up a little bit, right? As the arc curves around, it's going to curve up a little bit. Now, I'm exaggerating here, but it would be a little bit of a curve. And then if you used offset entities to create this 0.5 thickness, then the end cap would be coming off to the side like this rather than being vertical like this. So another way of saying it is it looks like we have a right angle right here, which we wouldn't, and this is vertical, which we wouldn't have if the arc continued. So the arc has to stop, and then we have to have a line right here. So going across the curve, we have a line, an arc, another arc, and a line. And just by symmetry, this line here is going to be equal to length in this line, and they're going to be collinear. So we're going to actually set up that relation pretty early on to make sure that everything is pretty stable looking. All right, we're going to be working in the right plane, and we'll try to make the sketch, somewhere around here, up close to the top where we're going to put it. So let's enter line mode. We'll create a little short line, go out and in, to create an arc, then another arc, out and in, another arc, and finally a line. And this is, this is going back to arc. So I'm just going to draw the line there. Okay, not the best drawing. We need to make sure this is tangent here. So everything is tangent. And this tangency we probably could use, but I'm going to assume that we didn't have that tangency. Okay, so let's say this is the shape that we have. So if we select these 2 lines, we need to make sure that these are equal because of the symmetry and collinear. By the way, another thing you could have done is just created half of this curve and then mirrored it across to create the other half. That would work as well. Maybe save a little bit of time, but it's about the same amount of time. So then we can start dimensioning these arcs. So this is 1 and 1 and 2. Here we go. And finally, we can dimension left to right of 5. Actually, not a finally. There's one more thing we need to do, which is the distance from this line to the center of the big arc is 1. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now, somehow we've got to put this arc up to the top here. But if you mouse over, you can see that there's no point that's coming off of that. And this kind of frustrated me for a while. So here's how I figured out how to do this, how to put this curve up to that point right there. Basically, and there's probably a better way to do this, so if you have a better way, please let me know in the comments. That'll help everybody else out too. So here's the way I did it. Basically, I exited this sketch, just double clicking somewhere, and then went back into this sketch here, moused over the arc, and then you can see that there's like a point now at the top of the arc. So if we select point, mouse over, we can actually put a point right there at the top of the arc. And if we hit escape, we can see that that point is still there as an asterisk. So exit this sketch and the point will still be there. And when we enter this profile sketch again, we can see that it's still there, and we can now click on it. So we want the top of our, let me move this out of the way. We want the top of this arc here to be placed on the top of that arc over there. So let me mouse over this, click on it, shift click here, Alt D to make it coincident, and now we're fully defined. This arc is now locked into place. Okay, so we can select this curve, and I kept saying arc, but I meant curve. We can select this curve, hit S, offset entities, and we want 0.5. I was doing this earlier, so it's 0.5 millimeters. And if you don't have cap ends already selected, you want to cap the ends with lines, because then it'll enclose the region for you. And you can see at the edges here, we've got this nice perpendicular angle that we saw in the diagram. So great, we've got our profile. We can go ahead and exit out of this sketch and hit Control-7 to get a nice isometric view. So we've got our profile, we've got the path that it's going to travel on. So what we can do is select both. So select one, shift click, select the other. Then click on Swept Boss Base. And when we do this, it automatically populates the profile and the path, but it's only going in this direction along the path. So what we can do to make it go in both directions is right click and select bidirectional. Or if you like using the property manager over here, we can select this middle icon. And now it's going in both directions, so we can hit enter. And this is looking pretty good. Let's check. We've got a volume of 288. So checking over here. Let's see what the volume, oops, I need to zoom out. 288 cubic millimeters. All right, well, I hope this video was helpful. Take care and keep studying.